Our Indian criminal justice system has changed with effect from July 1st, 2024, with the implementation of 3 new criminal laws, namely Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which is BNS, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which is BNSS, and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, which is BSA. These laws have replaced the British colonial era laws, that is the Indian Penal Code 1860, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, that is CRPC, and the Indian Evidence Act 1872, respectively. The contents of this video are not to scare anyone unnecessarily, but if you are an unmarried man in India, you need to watch this video right till the end. If you are parents to an unmarried son, you should also equally be concerned. Now let us understand what was the earlier law on rape on false promise of marriage and how was it defined in our IPC. Earlier, Section 375 meant where a man would be penalized for all forms of non-consensual sexual contact or non-consensual sexual penetration. It was a no-brainer that consent of a partner is most important when a couple indulges in intercourse. However, earlier there was really no specific provision or explanation in the IPC that spoke about sexual intercourse on the false promise of marriage. Now, taking cue from the term consent, the rape law was read with Section 90 of the IPC, which meant misconception of fact, and that interpreted these type of cases subjectively. Thus, even when a consensual relationship failed, a woman could turn around and claim that her consent was obtained by the boyfriend based on a false promise of marriage. What did this mean? Let us give you an example. So imagine you and your girlfriend have been dating each other for some time, and both of you have been indulging voluntarily into sexual activities as adults. Now, at this point in time, maybe the discussion of marriage may not have even taken place because you may be busy building your respective careers. So let's say later on, for any reason, it could be compatibility issues or anything else, the man or the boyfriend says that I don't want to go ahead with this relationship. I want to take a step back. I don't want to get married. He's just expecting his girlfriend to respect his no. In these situations also, he could have been dragged to court on charges of rape, implying that he indulged in sexual activity with his girlfriend after obtaining her consent on false promise of marriage. Now, with the introduction of Section 69 in the BNS, the same has been codified as under. Let me read out the exact legal definition as it has been defined. So Section 69 actually says, whoever by deceitful means or by making promise to marry to a woman without any intention of fulfilling the same has sexual intercourse with her, such sexual intercourse not amounting to offense of rape shall be punished with an imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. The term deceitful has also been explained, which means it should include inducement for or false promise of employment or promotion or marrying by suppressing identity. While voiceformenindia believes that no one and absolutely no one should be conned by deceit, but this term will be open to interpretation only after the matter goes for trial. This means that an FIR will be filed against the boyfriend and the onus of proving his intentions in that relationship will solely lie on him. What does this mean for consensual relationships that do not end up in marriage? In India, women are presently enjoying best of both the worlds. What do I mean by that? While on one hand, the law empowers a woman to sue any man who forces her against her consent or violates her no, which is absolutely right. On the other hand, what does the law do? The law also empowers the woman to charge a man as rapist if he is exercising his right to say no. Let us give you some examples which have come from the courts on this. In October 2020, the Allahabad High Court had quashed a rape case after the accused boyfriend married his ex-girlfriend following a compromise. In August 2021, the Madhya Pradesh High Court had actually dismissed a bail application for a man who had backed out from a relationship because his parents did not agree to that interfaith marriage. In fact, in this case, Justice Subodh Abhyankar had even gone to the extent of quoting that India is a conservative society. It has not yet reached such a level of civilization where a girl would indulge in carnal activities or sexual activities with a boy just for enjoyment, unless the same is backed by some kind of future promise or assurance of marriage. In another case that came up in February 2023, the Allahabad High Court allowed bail to a man after he was charged for rape on promise of marriage by an already married woman who was the mother of 2 children. While allowing bail in this particular case, the High Court had then observed that it is difficult for Indian women to live alone after a failed live-in relationship. Contrary to these particular examples, on the other hand, if we see, a woman or a girlfriend cannot be charged for rape or cheating. She can just decide to dump her boyfriend at any point in time after years and years of dating. In fact, there have also been cases where sadly some boyfriends have ended their lives after a breakup However, these girlfriends have been let off legally, citing the men as weak. Now, I also want to share my view with all of you on this whole sex on promise of job or promotion or, employment. While penalizing the man for failed relationships is absolutely bizarre, Section 69 of the BNS also deals with rape on promise of employment or promotion. But at the outset, let me first clarify that Voice for Men India is very, very clear. We do not support any man in power or in authority who exploits the female subordinates or juniors by taking advantage of them being vulnerable at their jobs. However, once again, the onus of consequences of voluntarily getting involved with a male employer or a male senior or a colleague should also equally lie with that adult woman. Corporate houses are full of consensual relationships between unmarried and married co-workers, and thus charging anyone of rape if he's unable to kind of fulfill his commitment on promotion once again seems a little unfair. An adult woman who voluntarily indulges in sexual favors with a man in expectation of something should be equally liable for its outcome. Let me explain to you with a scenario. Let's say a senior male colleague within an organization gets involved with his female team member. Now, both of them go outside, they meet outside the office premises, indulge into consensual flings. But later on, this senior male member is not able to give that desired promotion or increment or bonus to that female colleague. Should such a female co-worker be actually permitted to file a case of rape against him? We reiterate that we're not justifying any kind of moral wrong, but should women who consent to sex with their seniors, expecting something in return, be allowed to take unfair advantage of such gender bias laws? I also have a take on this whole casting couch, which is a routinely used term in the movie industry. Now, can anyone actually clap with one hand? Let's say a woman is being exploited. She's getting these kind of propositions. She has absolute right to drag that producer or director to court before getting involved with him. However, if a woman gives in to the pressures in the hope of getting a role for that film, she's equally responsible of compromising her ethics by taking those shortcuts. We are not giving any clean shit to the man here, but should only the men be blamed in such cases? Now let us quickly look at some public figures who had been charged with rape on promise of marriage. Let's begin with singer Ankit Tiwari. He was charged for rape by his ex-girlfriend, and at that time the singer had admitted to dating an advertising profession for almost a year. He had even met her parents, but later he backed out from that marriage because he learned that the woman was previously divorced and also had a child from that marriage. In 2017, Ankit was later acquitted from those said charges. However, in the interim, he lost out on many work opportunities due to that rape case. Another example was of Malayalam producer Vijay Babu, who was charged for rape after the victim claimed that he had sexually exploited her by projecting to be the savior of her personal and professional problems. On the other hand, Vijay Babu had produced 400 screenshots of messages sent by the woman to him, claiming that she was suffering from some kind of depression. The producer had also claimed that he, in fact, was not even in touch with the woman for the past 1.5 years. Many of you who are not so young would also recall the famous rape case filed against the Bollywood director Madhur Bhandarkar, who was also embroiled in a similar false promise of marriage case by a small-time actor after he had married his current wife. The complainant in this case had accused Bhandarkar of raping her between 1999 to 2004 on the promise of getting married to her and also giving her a prime role in one of his movies. This case had dragged on for almost 8 years, and in 2012, the court had dropped charges against the director as there was no evidence of rape against him. Many of you would not know, but even Mithun Chakravarti's son Mimo, who is also an actor, had faced a similar kind of allegation from his ex-girlfriend. According to the complainant, the actor was dating her since 2015. However, later he married another woman in the year 2018. As per media reports, the ex-girlfriend was trying hard to file a rape complaint against Mimo while he was just about to get married, but somehow she was not able to do so, and she only ended up being successful filing that rape case in the year 2020. Another popular TV actor, Karan Oberoi, was also arrested for rape in 2019 after a woman who he claims that he was just acquainted with her through a dating app dragged him to court. Oberoi has always maintained that she was just an acquaintance and they had never been even involved in any kind of affair romantically. While the actor claimed to have distanced himself from the woman in the year 2016 itself, the FIR was lodged against him after a period of 2 years. Another actor, Ejaz Khan, had opened up about his rape case while he was a participant in Bigg Boss 14. He had then publicly expressed the experience of being charged for rape since he was not aware of the consequences for backing out from a live-in relationship. So does Modi government actually want to discourage premarital sex and consensual relationships between adults? As a man in India, you now need to be very sure before indulging in sexual encounters with any woman. On one hand, if we see, you will have a lot of premarital counselors actually encouraging couples to live together, to understand each other well before finally tying that knot. But under Section 69 of the BNS, this will actually become a final nail in the coffin, leaving virtually zero exit for the man to make that choice whether to go ahead with the marriage or not. We are not suggesting that men and women keep fooling around or keep dumping each other. That is surely not the intent. But we are also no one to give any kind of moral lectures on how any adult should live their life. The problem comes when a law is codified to penalize only one gender if he decides to back out from that relationship. Let's say the current government wanted to curb down on live-in relationships. Why is this law not being made gender neutral? Why is only and only a man put in the dock while an adult woman who equally decides to have that premarital sex or live-in relationship turned into a victim? I also want to ask the central government as to why do we reduce a consensual relationship only to one aspect, that is sex. Physical intimacy definitely is one part of the relationship. But if we are bringing in a law with ifs and buts and riders, this is only virtually going to bring an end to all matters related to love and human emotions. While we are speaking about this, there are umpteen examples where young girls also don't marry their boyfriends because maybe they want a better life, better financially settled man. The reason could be anything. Now, if this is a choice that we all have to respect, why is our government turning a young, hard-working man into a criminal and rapist after a failed relationship? If our government really wants to curb these kind of relationships, they should actually first go and ban all these dating apps which are openly promoting one-night stands between couples. In fact, there are multiple cases where men meet up women, both of them, have a fling. It's both of them are, meeting up for a date. And later, these same women could actually be con women, turning around and filing a rape case against these men until they succumb to blackmailing and paying up to buy their freedom. In our humble opinion, if any adult woman is extremely conservative, she should actually refrain herself from indulging into premarital sex. But if she chooses to do so, she cannot play the victim by not taking responsibility of the consequences of her choice. Now, the most common argument by a lot of women rights activists and even a lot of lawyers who support causes for women will say that, oh, if you are innocent as a man, why do you have to worry? You will anyways get acquitted. To everyone who uses this logic, do you realize the pain, effort, money, time, all of that would be wasted in fighting these kind of rape cases? An FIR will be promptly filed on the word of the woman, and a medical report doesn't really matter because the woman can file a rape case after any number of years of that breakup. Often, we've also seen cases where disgruntled ex-girlfriends file rape cases against their boyfriends just after a day or so, of them getting married to another woman. In all such scenarios, now we also have newly married brides begging for help to save their husbands who have been now charged as rapists. So what will happen when an FIR is filed against you? The men will be left running around to seek anticipatory bail, and if they are lucky, if they have the resources to employ a competent lawyer, they may get the bail. On the other hand, the men who are not financially sound may be arrested and locked up for a few months until they can make provisions for that bail. Now mark my words clearly, I'm only talking about a bail. The trial will then continue for years, where a young man would possibly lose out on professional opportunities thanks to the tag of being accused as a rapist. If you're innocent, yes, surely you will win that case. But that victory after losing out on your prime years will only be hollow. Now, my suggestions, what should you do if you get into this kind of scenario or your girlfriend charges you for rape on promise of marriage? We are not suggesting options for using women or dumping them. But if you have been trapped in this kind of scenario where your ex-girlfriend is blackmailing you into marriage, please never ever give in to these kind of pressures. Remember, if you succumb now, your right to choice will be finished after marriage because that blackmailing and threatening you legally will become her tool for life. Engage a lawyer the minute you anticipate these kind of nuisances from your ex-girlfriend, and do not wait till an FIR is actually lodged. Learn the laws, be prepared to face any kind of challenges if they come up. I also often advise people that it's unfortunate that you now need to save your messages, WhatsApp communication, where both of you are actually clarifying that this is a mutual relationship. There is no discussion of marriage. Please have these chats with you if you can. Sadly, yes, this is where the relationships have come to. And let me also say that these chats may not really save you from arrest, but they'll surely come to your rescue during a trial. So what does Voice for Men India take in this? All girlfriends may not go to this kind of extreme after a breakup. Thus, we strongly advise everyone, especially the men who is watching this, not to be discouraged from finding a partner before marriage. The emotion of love is always healthy, but you also need to be cautious and alert in choosing that right partner. Many men, even today, only fall for good looks in a woman, and they do not really evaluate her mental and emotional compatibility. You cannot really influence what is going to happen to you at a later date because there's nothing like a right partner. But you can certainly minimize the risks of false rape cases by choosing someone equal to you and your outlook in all aspects. I'm leaving this entire article for all of you to read in the description link of this video, or you can also read it on our website, voiceformenindia.com. You can follow us on our social media handles, which is X, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook. ID is @voiceformenin. And you can hit that bell icon so that you can be updated as and how we broadcast a new video. If you found this video informative, do share this further with your friends, because generally we don't talk about these issues with our parents or even socially. That's it from me as of now. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste. Jai Hind.